I'm going to speak about four aspects of views of options towards dealing with the Iranian nuclear program. The first is the issue of U.S. leadership on the subject of dealing with Iran. The incumbent regime in Iran is indeed unpopular, and this unpopularity affords the U.S. with a renewal of its opportunities to exercise leadership in the international community. The U.S. needs to promote much stiffer sanctions, both economic and financial, including those that place Iran's ability to export oil and import refined petroleum products at risk. The global recession and the oil market meltdown offer some unique short-term opportunities to implement crippling sanctions on Iran's ability to sustain its nuclear program. The prolonged dithering of the international community has made it infeasible to prevent Iran from acquiring the industrial capability to enrich uranium. But there are still opportunities, I believe, to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. In addition, it's particularly important to intensify the U.S. engagement with Russia to defer or prevent the transfer of advanced air and missile defense equipment to Iran until the nuclear issue is resolved. And this is an issue of some importance, which I'll get to subsequently. A second issue is some views about the U.S. engagement with Iran. The U.S. comes from a position of considerable strength in its ability to engage Iran, and some of these areas of strength have been perhaps underutilized. The strong U.S. strategic position vis-a-vis Iran affords far greater diplomatic leverage than the U.S. has employed in the past. We have a considerable military presence in the region, for example, that can all be exercised at the diplomatic level to considerable advantage. The period following the election of President Obama, I think, but before the Iranian election in June, may provide some particularly good opportunities to intensify this engagement. Further, some exploitation of the carrots, such as integration into the international community and ending multilateral sanctions, as well as sticks, that is, crippling sanctions, could affect the pre-election environment in Iran, and in that respect could be constructive. Third point deals with the question of Israeli attitudes towards their military options. Israel believes it has a credible military option to deal with Iran's nuclear facilities. The Israeli objectives are more limited than would perhaps be thought of in the United States, but they nevertheless are pertinent. Their aspiration is to slow down the program, recognizing it cannot be stopped simply by military means. But because Iran has perfected the industrial aspects of enriching uranium, it's likely that Iran's nuclear facilities will be able to produce a substantial amount of low-enriched uranium. Iran has enough yellow cake in the country to perhaps produce enough highly enriched uranium, if it went to that length, to produce perhaps 50 nuclear weapons. So they have plenty of uranium in stock. The Israelis' military capability to do so is limited by its existing inventory of platforms and weapons. The existing Israeli force structure is likely to be adequate for the task, but the circumstances and the time factor are particularly important about whether or not Israeli military power could, in effect, be brought to bear. which gets to the final point about the time frame for resolution of this. Because the industrial processes have pretty well been perfected, and Iran indeed has access to the nuclear knowledge that had been developed by Pakistan as they exploited the nuclear weapon design that they got from China in the 1980s. The matter assumes some urgency from Israel's perspective, but the timing issue is mainly related to whether or not Israel can continue to hold at risk the nuclear facilities in Iran. They can certainly do so with the current configuration of active defenses in Iran, but the crucial issue that is likely to be whether or not Russia transfers the S-300 air defense system to Iran. It is the transfer of the S-300 that is likely to be a trigger for Israeli action in the region. And again, going back to my earlier remark, it raises the raises the importance of American engagement with Russia to try and persuade Russia not to transfer this system to Iran. I think, as General Haberger suggested, the opportunities for deterrence remain, and the opportunities for the international community to try and prevent the Iranian ability to acquire nuclear weapons, but the time frame is getting compressed, and we'll need to act quickly if we're going to be successful.